Welcome to the She Would Know podcast,
where curiosity meets expertise.
Welcome back to the She Would Know podcast. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Shayna. Happy She Would Know Wednesday.
Yay.
How's your week been?
It's been good. I have one more week of work before my maternity leave, so...
Wow.
I know.
It went by so fast.
I know. I'm so looking forward to it. I know I'm going to be working a lot in a different way during my maternity leave, but I haven't had a break from work in a long time, so I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be fun. I'm excited for you to be on maternity. I'm excited for the baby to be here. That might be selfish of me, but I'm so ready to snuggle a newborn, and I don't want one of my own quite yet. So I'm going to be living vicariously through you.
Come over every day. Snuggle the babe.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, how's your week been?
It's been good. I worked yesterday, and for those of you who don't know, I'm a nurse. That's my day job sometimes, and I really love it. Yesterday was actually a good work day where I had a really good tech and not super needy patients, and it was just one of those days where I was like, oh, I'm super grateful for this job. I don't want to be doing it forever, but I'm grateful for it. And then other than that, my mom left, which is sad, but also it's nice to have my house back and to get back into a routine with the kids. And
she was here for like 3 weeks?
Yeah, she was like probably a little over 3 weeks, but it was a good time. And my kids absolutely loved having grandma around. They want her to come back.
Yeah. We've been seeing my mom a lot lately, and every time my daughter cries now, she says, I want Nana. I'm like, okay, we need to take a break.
Is that, did your mom choose her grandma name, or?
No, we've always called her grandma, but my daughter just started calling her Nana because she couldn't say grandma. But now she tries to say grandma, and it's the cutest thing.
Yeah.
You know, their little grandma.
My mom tried to have us call her, or have the grandkids call her Glamma, and I was like, absolutely not. Which, if you know my mom, like, it's very fitting. She's glitzy, glammy, loves sparkly glitter, whatever. And I'm like, no, I cannot say that with a straight face.
Oh my gosh.
And I wasn't the first one to have grandkids, so it's like, I might not get to choose. Uh-huh. But luckily, my siblings stood in solidarity, and we just all settled on Grandma.
Yeah, my dad goes by Papa, and he chose that and told everyone he wanted to be Papa. My mom could care less. She doesn't care about very many things. Not in a way like she doesn't care, but she's just not a very picky person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Papa, but I feel like, at least my kids have 4 sets of grandparents, and everyone's pretty like, nope, we just want to be Grandma, Grandpa. With the exception of my stepmom, because she has, I think, a 10-year-old daughter still, so she's not ready to be grandma. She's like, they can call me Gigi, which I completely understand.
Yeah, it's a cute name.
If I was a mom to an 8-year-old, I wouldn't be ready to be a grandma either. So we have 3 grandmas, 1 Gigi, and 4 grandpas.
Okay, what are your thoughts on like a bumper sticker or a t-shirt or something, or a mug that says like world's best grandma or things like that?
It's dorky, but it's cute. I don't know.
Do you have any bumper stickers on your car?
I have a sticker on my car, but it was on it. I inherited it when I got the car. It's like a Calvin and Hobbes little sticker on the back of my minivan. I'm not really a bumper sticker person.
Me neither.
And I want to get rid of it, but it helps like me know which one's mine, and I don't know what I would replace it with. So it's on there for now. Don't stalk me if you see a minivan with a Calvin and Hobbes sticker. But
my very first car I got in high school was a 1996 Hyundai Santa Fe. No, Nissan Sentra.
I drove a Nissan Sentra. That wasn't my first car. That was my second car.
Aw, and it was stick, and it was white, and it was so junky, and it had a sticker on it that said, Spokane Library, more than books, more than ever, your library. And I loved it.
That's so fun that you drove stick for your first car. So did I.
That was my parents' rule. They would buy us our first car, but it had to be stick.
Yeah, that was my parents' rule too. Yeah. That's super fun. I think all women should know how to drive stick. Like, that's a very important skill.
Yeah. And I haven't driven stick since I got rid of that car, but
it's like riding a bike.
It would come back to me.
Yeah. My sister drives a stick shift still, but her husband doesn't know how to drive stick.
Oh.
And I'm like, girl, we need to fix that. He needs to be able to drive your car. But yeah, it's nice knowing that you can be versatile. Like we're going to Ireland. Actually, we'll have already gone to Ireland by the time this goes out, but most cars there are manual. So you have to know how to drive a stick shift in another country.
Do they drive on the other side of the road?
And they drive on the other side of the road.
Ooh.
Which I will not be driving. My husband will, but he lived in South Africa for 2 years. So he knows how to drive on the other side of the road. Thank goodness.
It would make me so nervous.
Yeah, I would be like, no.
I've made a lot of progress with driving anxiety, but that would just send me right back to ground zero, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not good on spatial awareness sometimes. So it probably would not go well. But luckily I have a husband who has skills that I don't.
Oh my goodness. Driving is the worst. Well, what's new? Anything else new with you?
Anything else new? I don't think so. I need to plan my Ireland trip.
Mm-hmm.
And my son's doing a Broadway camp this week, which is super fun. And yeah, no, nothing's new.
Yeah. Those are fun things. I read once that you get more satisfaction from planning a trip than actually going on it.
I'm not excited about planning this trip, actually. Yeah. I was a year ago when I initially started planning it, but then had to cancel. I kind of lost motivation. And now it's just a dread of, I want to go on the vacation, but I don't want to have to worry about the vacation. And I don't have a budget for it currently. So that's also a little stressful.
Like, you don't mean it's an unlimited budget?
No, it's not an unlimited budget. We were supposed to settle a lawsuit 6 months ago and use that money towards this trip. But that has still not been settled. So,
oh my gosh.
We have money that we can use for it, but not knowing what the budget should have been is a little stressful for me.
That is stressful.
Because I'm going to have to pay myself back, and I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
But it'll be fine.
We really need to do a whole episode on how you got so into finances.
Yes.
I was thinking about that while we were driving here. I need to interview with you on that.
I love talking about money anytime.
Okay, let's do that one next.
All right, well, so on today's episode, we are talking all things baby. Chelsea is days away from giving birth. Mm-hmm. And we thought it would be fun to kind of revisit our first motherhood experiences and hear from you guys what things you wish you would have known before having a baby. Because having a baby is stressful. Mm-hmm. And growing and birthing a human is crazy enough. Like, all the other stuff that goes along with it shouldn't be a mystery. So hopefully we will teach you guys a little bit, or teach you guys something new about what it's like to have a baby.
Yeah. And this is our first listener submitted episode.
Yes.
And so it's scary starting a podcast in general. You're putting yourself out there. But then I feel like it's even scarier to do a listener submitted episode, because we put up the link on both of our Instagram accounts, and then the She Would Know Instagram account. And that little monster in your brain is just no one's going to answer, you suck. But people did. And so thank you to everyone who submitted things.
Yeah, it's so fun to hear from you guys. We really wanted all of this to be a collaborative effort and to hear what you guys know. Mm-hmm. And there is so much that we can learn from each other. So we want to do a lot of these in the future and learn from your experiences and from your wisdom. So thank you to everyone who submitted.
So we decided, we normally do a She Would Know podcast, or what am I saying? A She Should Know segment.
Baby brain.
Baby brain is here. Okay, I had the most pregnant moment the other day. I was driving to Target, and I couldn't remember why I was going to Target. So I texted my husband, and I said, why am I going to Target? And he said, to buy antacids. Just that whole 2-minute section, I was like, this is so pregnancy.
And for antacids, no less.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That is amazing.
Anyways, we usually do a She Should Know segment where we share your submitted things you think people should know, but that's pretty much our whole episode, so we decided to do a second episode. Okay,
all right, I'm gonna take over.
You should explain this.
Okay, so today we're talking all things baby today. So we're going to start off with our favorite things for baby that we loved in our first or second motherhood experiences. We just thought it would be fun to share. What was your biggest must-have when you had your daughter?
Okay, when I had my daughter almost 3 years ago, the Snuggle Me little baby pillow things were super popular. but they're like $100. I got a knockoff one on Amazon that I think was like $35, and it was perfect. It was awesome. The cover came off and you could wash it. We'll have to put a link in the show notes. And anyways, I loved that. We used that all over the place. And, we'd put it in our living room if we were in there, or like on the floor somewhere, wherever. You could just bring the baby around with you all over the place.
Yeah, it's nice having a place to set the baby where they're somewhat contained.
Yes. Really loved that.
Yeah, I had one. I actually had the name brand one for my son, but I got it on sale. I don't think they had knockoffs at that point because it was like brand new 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much what he slept in the first 2 months of his life. Supervised sleep. We were doing round the clock watching the baby sleep at that stage, but yeah, it was the best, and I used it for my daughter too.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah, the baby just has a nice, clean, safe, comfy spot.
Yeah, and it like gives them a hug. It hugs them on the sides so they don't feel free. And
honestly, I want one that's my size. It seems like it would be comfy.
Yeah, I was thinking we just got rid of my pregnancy pillow because I will want another one, but the one that I'm thinking of that I'll want for the future is it has like 3 sides and it like hugs you, and it's pretty much a snuggle me just without the bottom part.
That sounds perfect.
It's like almost a horseshoe shape, but a little bit narrower, and it just holds you in.
Sounds so cozy.
I can't wait.
Okay, my other must-have baby thing, and I'd say I probably more experienced that this pregnancy and whatever, but a magnesium supplement. I'm such a huge fan. It makes you sleep better and makes you poop.
Magnesium is magic.
It's magic. So my last pregnancy, I was constipated all the time. This pregnancy, not at all. Because, my midwife told me to take magnesium, and I did, and life-changing.
Yeah, I take magnesium now, not pregnant, to help with sleep.
Yeah, and I feel like, this pregnancy, I've just had a lot less, upset stomach stuff.
That's nice.
Yeah, very happy about that. What are your baby must-haves?
So my baby must-haves are, first, with my daughter, the Happy Baby Carrier brand was the absolute godsend. She did not let me put her down for 4 months. And when she was born, I had a 1-year-old toddler. So I needed free hands and I needed to be able to hold her safely. And I was also breastfeeding at the time. And so initially I tried one of those like Solly Baby wraps, which I love, but it was too hard to like take on and off to breastfeed. I needed something with buckles. And I had an Ergo carrier also, but it was just super clunky. So I wanted something a little bit softer and easier to wear. And I'm so excited to use it again for the next baby because it's a soft carrier and it's an apron style. So it sits higher on your waist. So it doesn't put pressure on your lower stomach. And it's cozy for them. And it's easy to take on and off. And it was a lifesaver.
That sounds perfect, because I have those other two that you mentioned. I have the Ergo one, which is great if you're walking a lot or going far or whatever, or when the baby's older. Then I have the Solly, which is just a huge piece of fabric, pretty much. And they both have their pros and cons, so it sounds like the Happy Baby's kind of the happy medium.
It was amazing. I'll let you try it.
Okay, I will.
I won't let you keep it because I'm going to keep it at my house for when I watch your baby and just wear them around. But no, it was the best. I absolutely love it.
Oh, I love that.
It is a little bit pricey, but I got it on, they have like a Happy Baby buy, sell, trade Facebook group, and I got it off there for cheaper.
Okay, that's awesome.
So
I feel like really any baby thing, you don't need to buy it new.
No, buy it used, especially newborn stuff, because babies only use it for a couple months. I think 90% of the stuff I bought for my first was from Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Or Mercari. I bought everything used.
What's Mercari?
You don't know what Mercari is?
No.
It's like, you know how Poshmark is for clothes?
Yeah.
Mercari is like Poshmark, but for anything. It's like an eBay, but you don't bid. It's like an app. They probably have a website, but you can put in offers on things if you don't want to pay full price, and they can choose to accept your offer. But yeah, I have a Nuna travel crib. I got it from Mercari for like $100.
What?
Yeah, I've gotten so many things off Mercari.
I am a bargain shopper, but I have never heard of Mercari. This might be my new obsession. Okay.
Yeah. And I've sold things on Mercari. My shark styler thing, whatever, I can't even remember what it's called. I got that off Mercari.
Okay.
For like way cheaper than Amazon. Like it was probably from someone like an Amazon return seller. Oh yeah. Because it was brand new.
Yeah.
But super cheap.
I'm going to see if I can find a hydro jug on Mercari.
Probably.
Huh. Okay, awesome. Okay, you had another favorite thing, didn't you?
Yes. So my second favorite thing was having or putting a mini fridge in our room for my postpartum period, like era. We have a 2-story, and after having a C-section, it's hard to walk up and down stairs. Like, it's very painful. And I become a hermit after giving birth. So keeping a mini fridge in my room for late night snacks and like just keeping like little energy bites cold in the fridge. And if I was pumping, I could just put the breast milk in the mini fridge and not have to walk it downstairs or like wake up my husband to take it downstairs. It was amazing. I highly recommend a mini fridge in your room.
That does sound amazing.
That was actually my husband's suggestion. I asked him last night, I'm like, what was your favorite thing for when we had babies? And he was like, mini fridge.
Yeah.
Because he kept snacks in there too.
And honestly, when you wake up, it's crazy. Like, obviously we don't get hungry when we're asleep unless you're super hungry. But like the other night I woke up at 2 a.m. and I could not go back to sleep till like 4:30. And I was so hungry, like just because I was awake. So I feel like when you're waking up, you do need to eat.
Yeah, and you don't want to have to walk all the way to the kitchen. And it's like, I don't know, just leaving your sleep space can be a little disruptive. Mm-hmm. And it wakes you up a little bit more. But just having something right there that you can open and grab and eat and then fall back asleep, it's helpful.
It's so true. Once you wake up too much, like when I wake up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I try to do the whole thing with my eyes closed. Because I'm like, I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up.
I am sleeping.
I probably look like such an idiot, but who's going to see me?
No one, just your husband.
He already knows I'm an idiot. So.
Okay, well, should we get into our main topic of the day?
Yeah.
So we're going to be sharing all of the things we wish we knew before having a baby. And I thought it would be fun to talk about like our experiences as first-time moms. Because, I mean, we've talked about this before, but we had very different experiences. Like pregnancy, birth, postpartum. And, I mean, everyone's experience is going to be different. And regardless if you are pregnant and growing a human, birthing a human, or if you're adopting or having a surrogate or becoming a step parent, like our parenthood, motherhood journeys, new baby journeys are all going to look different. So I think it's helpful to hear different perspectives and realize that it's all going to look different and there's no right or wrong way to be a parent and have a baby.
Yes, it's so good. I feel like it's the perfect opportunity to practice the like different isn't bad. It's just different thing because it's all so different. Yeah. So what was your experience like bringing home your first baby?
My first baby. So I had a COVID baby. So July of 2020 is when I had my first, and it was rough. My birth experience was not what I expected.
Yeah, because you had a C-section. Were you planning on it?
No, I did not have it. I did not have a very positive birth experience with my first. Like they had been telling me from like 36 weeks, oh, you should probably have a C-section, with no reason for saying that. But I was very insistent. No, I want to try to give birth naturally, whatever. So yeah, in the end, I was in labor for about 30 hours and I never progressed past 5 centimeters. And my cervix started swelling up and my legs were completely numb. I couldn't move them at all. My epidurals, I had 2 epidurals that failed in the sense that I could feel everything going on, but except my legs. So my legs were the only things that were numb. Like it was really rough. And yeah, I ended up having a C-section, which was fine. Like we got him here safe and he was beautiful. And then my in the hospital experience after that also wasn't great. We can get into that later. But bringing him home from the hospital, we were living in Miami at the time, like South Miami, in this tiny little crappy apartment, which only had 1 bathroom. And multiple times over the previous months, the bathroom had broken.
Oh, no.
And I would have to like pee in the shower like 38 weeks pregnant because no one would come fix the toilet in time or like in a timely manner. And so we get home from the hospital. My mom isn't there yet because she couldn't come for the birth anyway. It was COVID. And she gets there. He's probably about a week old at this point. 2 days later, our toilet breaks. He's 1 week old and I'm recovering from C-section. And it's late on Sunday night. And there's 3 adults sharing this only toilet and we have to leave like the apartment. No one's coming to fix it. The bathroom is flooding and we have a brand new baby. It's COVID. So everyone's afraid. Like, should we go to a hotel? Are hotels safe? Like what is going on? So we end up going and staying in the only people we know's house who were actually out of town, but luckily they had one of those like key locks where you could punch in the code. We go and stay in their house. We sleep on the couches because I can't go upstairs because of my C-section. And it was just chaotic. I ended up getting a really bad rash all over my body, like an allergic reaction to something. And I was so itchy. It was not the best. It was not fun.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah. Anyways, it was really stressful. And then we end up moving across the country when he was 1 month old. And my husband was getting a new job, and it was just wild. It was not what I was expecting my first baby experience to be. And in the end, I didn't realize till I was actually pregnant with my daughter, but I had a lot of postpartum anxiety. I probably did not sleep the first 4 months of his life because I was worried about him not breathing. So I would just like wake up and check on him multiple times during the night. I was absolutely exhausted, and it was rough.
Yeah. I feel like there's not, like, people talk about postpartum depression, but I don't think people talk about postpartum anxiety enough.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a somewhat high-strung person in general, but I don't think anyone really recognized what was going on. Because, of course you're a new mom. You're not sleeping. Like, that's normal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, life is really stressful for you right now. It's normal for you to be stressed. My husband is actually the one who experienced some postpartum depression. Like, he got a little bit of the baby blues. And so it was, now my energy's focused on him, trying to help him feel better because he was struggling. So there just wasn't anyone really looking out for me. Yeah. And luckily everything was okay. But it wasn't until later that I recognized, you were not okay.
Yeah.
At all. And plus I had lost health insurance. So I couldn't go to the doctor. My son had an undiagnosed tongue tie for 6 weeks and was almost failure to thrive. There were so many things going on that people were like, yeah, it's stressful.
Oh, man. I think we just all need to be more bold in asking, like, so are you depressed? Are you anxious?
Yeah.
Like, how's your mental health?
Like, let's talk about things. I feel like a postpartum, like, counseling session should be mandatory.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because doctors can be dismissive, especially OBs. You see them once at 6 weeks and it's, whatever. Things aren't always obvious. But if you have to sit down and talk with someone for 30 minutes to an hour, that's when things are going to come up, especially with someone who's trained in recognizing those things.
For sure. And that form they give you to fill out.
Oh, yeah, it's bogus.
Yes, it sucks. It sucks. And I feel like especially anyone who's neurodivergent or has a learning disability or whatever, like doing it sometimes never always whatever scale is really hard for some people because they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I don't too.
Yeah.
Don't make me rate things on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah. Those are the worst.
It was hard. But my second experience was much different and much better because I knew a little better. So it's okay.
Yeah. That's awesome.
How was your experience?
It was good. My pregnancy was a little crazy. I ended up with cholestasis, which, in case you don't know, your liver kind of poops out and stops processing bile, and it ends up in your blood, which sounds disgusting. It sounds like there's poop in your blood or something, but anyways, go Google it if you want to learn more about it. It makes you super itchy. So your liver's not working, so you get tired because you just have a lot of inflammation, and then you get really itchy because the bile is in your blood. It's like your blood is itchy and not your skin. So like lotions or creams or whatever don't make it go away. So I got induced at, I think, 36 and a half weeks. And my epidural also did not work. My legs were numb, but not between my legs. And so, but yeah, that was fine. Gave birth. Postpartum was fine. I started grad school 2 weeks before I gave birth. And
you're crazy.
It was, well, it wasn't a planned pregnancy. So I would have planned the timing a little bit differently, but I'm not great at planning things in general. So this baby wasn't planned either, but it's working out fine. Anyways,
do you need a reminder on how babies are made?
No, it was like okay, so rewind. We were trying to have a baby. Then we had a miscarriage. And then we were trying to decide if we wanted to keep trying or wait until we were both done with grad school. Because we both started at the same time. And during that time, I don't know, we got wishy-washy about it and then got pregnant. Anyway, so I had my baby 2 weeks into grad school. And it actually was fine. I think I had enough like manic energy. I'm not actually manic, I'm not bipolar, but like just so that so many new things going on energy, I got through it and it was fine. But I thought it was going to be terrible, the worst thing I'd ever experienced, because that's what I had always heard. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, the first 2 weeks were terrible. I cried every day.
Yeah.
I thought I was losing my mind. But I had really good friends who told me, like, no, the first 2 weeks are crazy, and you do feel like you're losing your mind, and you're going to cry multiple times a day. But then it gets better, and it did.
Yeah.
So
eventually it gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how different our experiences can be. I have cousins who their whole pregnancies are miserable. They are sick, throwing up, absolutely the worst. But the second they give birth, they are back to normal and they are super women. And they have do concerts and go on trips and all these things, where I am the complete opposite, where it's like my pregnancies are fine. And then I give birth and I am not a human for like 2 months. I have to be secluded and not do stuff because I can't function.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. And it's neither of them are right or wrong or good or bad. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
And it's so different because, like, I felt a lot better after giving birth because my liver started to work again.
Well, that helps.
And I remember, like, literally minutes after giving birth, just taking a deep breath and be like, oh my gosh, that's the first time I've taken a deep breath in months. And just immediately not having heartburn. Just some of those things where I was, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. But the physical health part of it, I feel like I got better after giving birth. But the mental health can be a struggle for a while.
Both of them were a struggle for me. C-sections.
I can't even imagine having a C-section. Like,
it's rough. I mean, planned C-sections, that's what I had with my daughter, was a planned C-section. And that experience was so nice. It was just, I like being in control. So knowing when the baby's going to come out exactly was like awesome. But the recovery is hard. Yeah. Especially when you have a toddler that you have to take care of.
Yeah. I remember my friend telling me once that she had to ask her mom to brush her hair for her because she couldn't lift her arm up. And I was like, I didn't realize how bad a C-section was until she told me that.
You get cut in half. I think it's like 7 layers deep.
Oh my goodness gracious.
My husband had hernia repair surgery. And he's, I know what it feels like. I'm like, do not even. It's not the same. And you don't have to take care of a baby.
Yeah. And you're not bleeding out of another hole.
Yeah, right? Spoiler alert, if you have a baby, no matter how that baby comes out of your body, you will bleed out of your vagina. It's great.
The bleeding.
Okay, let's get into our submissions.
Yes, I'm so excited to share these.
Okay, do you want to start?
Okay, our first one, and this, I agree with this one. Babies are super noisy sleepers. Just because they're making noise doesn't mean you need to pick them up.
That was such a shock to me.
They are like little pit bulls or something. They're like snorting and hooting and hollering all the time. Yeah. They are really loud. And that made it hard for me to sleep. So we like moved our bassinet to the very far side of our room just because.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy when I would hear people say that they moved their baby out of their room at like 3 weeks old, because I was like, how can you do it? But now I understand. You need to sleep.
For sure.
And now you can put a camera on the baby and a monitor, but yeah, if they're snorting and squealing right next to you, you're going to be waking up at every sound.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they are very noisy. So I didn't expect that either.
Okay. Next submission is, this one makes me laugh because I relate to this so much. It's more important to park next to the cart return than the store. The car seat gets so heavy. I think I try to be a responsible adult and return my shopping cart every time. Like, I feel judgment if I don't return my shopping cart. So yes, I always park next to the little cart return things, because especially now with 2 kids, I mean, they're a little older now, but when they were both babies, it was like, I'm loading up right there and bringing the cart and putting the cart away. I would circle the parking lot for like 10 minutes and wait for a spot. Yeah,
and even like getting the baby into the store, it's nice to be able to put them straight into a cart right from the car.
Especially when they're in a car seat, because they are heavy. You don't want to lug that thing around.
Oh my gosh. And especially if you did have a C-section, I feel like that'd be even harder.
Yeah, you can't. Well, I mean, I personally did not leave the house for a while, especially with both kids. But once I did, it was like, yes, always next to the cart return. Pro tip. And then even if you can't return the shopping cart, it's okay.
It is okay.
It is okay. If you see a mom, so something I did when if I couldn't return the shopping cart, I would honestly ask someone like, hey, do you want this cart? They were walking by, or like, could you put this cart away from me? That took a lot of what's braveness, that's not the word, courage on my part to ask people to do that. But I want them to, one, realize that I do want to put my cart away. And two, I was like, it's okay. That's not a big deal.
For sure.
So if you see a mom, just ask her if you can take your cart.
I love it when people do that.
Yeah, it's so nice.
It really is. And right now it's so hot.
Yeah.
Okay, my life hack. I mentioned this to a client the other day and I think I ruined their vision of me. But I park in the like Target pickup spots.
I can never.
That's what everyone says when I say that. I park in those, especially because the Target ones are close to the front.
Yeah.
My grocery store ones are like off to the side in the back, and, which I think is where they should be. But it's the best. Then you're close to the front.
I guess I just worry about being towed. I don't know.
You know, I have a line. I have a line to get out of it. Like, well, I have a pickup scheduled in a few minutes. I just had to run in and grab something.
That's smart.
That's my lie, I would say, if someone ever said anything to me. But I've done it probably 30 times and no one's ever said anything.
That's amazing. I think more places need to have like the pregnant woman parking.
I agree.
There's this one aquarium that has that spot. And I remember going there when I was pregnant with my second. And I'm like, this is the freaking best thing ever. Just being able to pull into this parking spot close
So
to the
nice.
front. So come on, companies, get on that.
Next submission. You are going to be the most tired you have ever been, and you're going to think it's never ending, but it will get better. You will get better, then some way months later, you're going to miss those long nights and cuddles. And I think this is true. Like literally with anything else in your life, all the terrible days have ended. Mm-hmm. And all the things you didn't know how to do, you learned how to do.
It's amazing how exhausted you can be, but still function.
Yeah.
I don't think you realize that until you become a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because even like working my 12-hour shifts as a nurse, it's like, I'm tired and I want to go home and I go to sleep. But like when you're a mom, you just keep going.
Yeah, you just keep going.
Got to keep that baby alive.
You do. You do. And I remember there were some things that just felt so impossible at first, like giving my baby a bath. I don't know why that felt so hard to me.
Oh yeah, I hate giving my kids baths.
Yeah. But now it feels easy. I'm like, why did I ever feel like that was so hard? Brushing my daughter's teeth?
Well, that's...
I don't know why I had such a hard time remembering it and then doing it and then like reminding myself that like this is worth doing. I would still do it, but every day it was like such an internal struggle for me.
Yeah.
But now it's like, we just do it. Yeah. We just do it. I'm like, you can scream the whole time if you want, but we're doing it.
Yeah, I baby stepped up. It was like brushing teeth at night. We did that for a while. I finally took them to the dentist and they're like, oh yeah, they're good, but you need to be flossing and brushing morning and night. And I was like, okay, fine. So
you
now
floss your kids' teeth?
Sometimes, not frequently. My kids have like my daughter already has crowding on the bottom.
Oh wow.
So the orthodontist, was it a dentist? It was a dentist, already told me, yeah, she's gonna have to have braces and you need to floss especially if you notice food stuck. Mm-hmm. So we have to do it. But
I don't even floss my own teeth.
Oh, I floss every single day.
Good for you.
I have permanent retainers also, so I kind of have to dig in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of crazy about dental hygiene, especially for myself. I would have nightmares about my teeth falling out. It's one of my biggest fears.
This episode might be all over the place, but I had the craziest dream last night. I wish I knew the name of this content creator. He's a psychiatrist, and he posts the funniest videos. Like, he was posting one yesterday about how police officers have to be tased before, they can tase other people. He was like, I think psychiatrists needs to be given Haldol before they can give it to someone else. And Haldol's like a sedative and like makes you calm down. Anyway, so I was watching that video and I was just laughing about it. And then I fell asleep this morning. I was taking a nap this morning at like 8:30 a.m. And anyways, he was in my dream sitting on my couch. And we were just chatting about our favorite colors in my dream. It was the weirdest dream ever. We can cut that out if we need to.
I love it. Next submission, which for you girl moms out here is just somewhat fascinating. Some baby girls, not all of them, can have what looks like a period from all the hormones from mom in the first few days.
That makes sense. I saw this post that talked about how the first few days it's like going from 100 birth control pills to 0. Mm-hmm. So of course that would affect your baby, especially if you're nursing.
Crazy. So if you are bringing home a baby girl and there's some blood coming out, it's perfectly normal. Don't freak out.
Most of the things I've ever Googled are perfectly normal. Okay, next one. Trust your own instincts and just enjoy those first few special weeks. I do think the motherly instinct is so important.
It's incredible.
Like you were just born, like the baby's born, and then you are born with your motherly instinct. Like you get it, and then it's something. Yeah, it's something to be respected. Like it is so special.
Yeah, like knowing something is wrong. I experienced that with my son, where I had 2 different pediatricians tell me, oh, he's fine, he's getting enough milk, whatever. But it was like, I know something is not right. And so I went to a 3rd pediatrician, and they were like, yeah, he has a really bad tongue tie. He's not getting anything out.
Yeah. And I think we're conditioned so much to just like trust other people over ourselves. But something about being a mom just really makes you an advocate, and it just,
Fight for your kid.
Yes. And the first few weeks are special, and they can be kind of crazy, but there are a lot of really special things to enjoy too. Like the sweet snuggles and just like looking at them and being like, you were just in heaven and now you're here. Or I don't know, wherever you believe babies are before. And it is fun to have people, well, I thought it was fun to have people come and visit and like see the baby and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't let people come over.
Yeah, and that's okay too.
Okay, next submission. I wish I knew that sometimes babies just cry because it's their only way to express themselves. True. This has a lot of good ones in there, so I'm going to keep reading. I wish I knew that I needed to study how to breastfeed and have an IBCLC contact info. Oh, and so IBCLC is a licensed, what's it called? Why can't I think of it? Lactation consultant. That's what I'm trying to say.
Going to one tomorrow.
I think sometimes people think that breastfeeding just is like super easy and comes to people naturally, but sometimes you really have to fight to make it work.
There's like strategy to it.
Yeah. There's so many things that you don't know about breastfeeding until you're doing it and you realize, wait, what is this? Like the breast doesn't just come out of the little tip of your nipple.
Oh, it's like a shower head. When I realized it's a shower head and not like a single stream, blew my mind.
You got to put the whole thing in your baby's mouth, not just the tip of your nipple. That will hurt and they won't get anything out.
Mm-hmm. I heard someone say the other day, it's breastfeeding, not nipple feeding.
Yeah. I learned so much with my son. I have never been successful breastfeeding like alone, but I learned so much that I considered for a little bit becoming a certified lactation consultant, because I was like, I just want to help women breastfeed.
Yeah, I didn't have a great experience with it either. I didn't like all the sensations, my boobs being hard and then soft and wet and dry and blah, blah, blah. Like all of that was hard for me. But we're giving it a go this time around, and if it doesn't work,
it's okay.
It's okay.
Fed is best. Yeah, I tried triple feeding both of my kids, which is breastfeeding, pumping, and then feeding them the pumped milk. And like, there's nothing I could do to get my supply high enough, so I ended up having to supplement with formula, which is okay. My husband actually loved being able to feed the babies, and not pumping every 2 hours is nice. Like, it's really stressful. I mean, if that's what you want to do, like, do it, but do not force yourself.
Yeah. And I would say I wish I never went to a lactation consultant with my last, and I realized my insurance covers all of it.
That's incredible.
I was just, I don't know, being lazy. I didn't want to go. I was tired. I'm not sure what it was. I don't know why I never went. I even had a friend tell me, Chelsea, you need to go to a lactation consultant, and I didn't.
Well, I think it's easy to assume that your insurance doesn't cover anything pregnancy related.
I have probably below average insurance, but they cover 2 visits before I have the baby and unlimited after. So check with your insurance and see what yours covers.
I have a kind of crazy story. So with my son, we were losing insurance when he was like 6 weeks old. And a couple of weeks before that, I won. So this was an in-between period where I had met with the pediatricians in Florida before we moved to Arizona, and they're like, oh yeah, he's fine, whatever. And then I come to Arizona and I'm on Instagram and I apply for this Instagram giveaway and I win it. And it's the only Instagram giveaway I've ever won. And it was with a lactation consultant. And we did the little virtual consult. And she's like, yeah, I think he might have a tongue tie, whatever. And she's like, you might want to go see this doctor. And so I go see the doctor. And that's the doctor that was like, yeah, he has a tongue tie. So she basically saved his life, because we were about to lose insurance. And I wasn't going to go to the doctor anytime soon with him because he didn't need to. Like, he had done his 1-month checkup. Like, he was fine. And yeah, it was just incredible.
That is incredible. And I think we were talking about this before we started recording, but almost every problem you have postpartum, whether it's problems with breastfeeding, problems with like your core muscles or your pelvic floor or your mental health or anything. Everything has a solution.
Yeah.
You just have to either ask someone to help you figure out the solution or do it yourself.
Yeah. But also things take time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2 years postpartum, I still have ab separation.
Yeah.
And it stinks, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I like my baby. I'll keep her.
She is so cute.
I wouldn't trade her for a flat stomach.
Oh my goodness. Did you want to read any more from that one?
Let's see. Yeah, I'll just read the rest of it. So I wish I knew that postpartum would be way harder than pregnancy and birth, which was true for me. I wish I knew that I wouldn't feel an immediate connection or infinite love for my new baby, that I would feel depressed, flat, mom rage, more anxiety, etc., and not enjoy being a mom most of the time, which I think is something that people don't really talk about because it's like, oh yeah, you'll meet your baby and you'll love them and being a mom is the best experience. It's not sometimes.
Huge adjustment.
It's a huge adjustment. It's really hard. Sometimes your baby's a little stinker and they drive you nuts. And it's okay. Like if motherhood doesn't look like what you expect it to be, there can be a lot of disappointment. And that can be a hard thing to deal with. Now, some of those things could be postpartum depression. So talk with your doctor if that lasts. But yeah, being a mom isn't always easy. And then she goes on to say that around age 3 is when she started to enjoy being a mom and feel a lot more and feel more like herself, which totally relatable. The newborn infant stage is hard. And then I wish I knew that I should have learned before having my first how to grieve, truly feel, and express my feelings in a healthy way so that I can model that for my children. Which I think hindsight is 2020. I think there's a lot of things like after we become parents, it's like, oh, maybe I should have had a better coping mechanism for that. And then I don't know. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of like, oh, I'll never do that as a parent. And then I do that as a parent and it's like, oh, I understand. Like I am a lot more like my mom as a parent than I ever would have thought.
Yeah. 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 You realize everyone has good reasons for being the kind of parent that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not too late post having kids to figure those things out. You can go to therapy and you can get better. Kids forgive and forget.
They do. They do. They do. And yeah, never too late to teach them new ways to deal with their emotions.
Yes. And to improve yourself.
Yes. Okay. Next submission. A mentally healthy mom is the best thing you can give your baby. I fought to breastfeed a NICU baby and it brought on so much anxiety and stress and shame. I dreaded any time I had to feed her and cried under a blanket between each feeding. When I finally stopped and switched to formula and prioritized myself by getting medication, allowing others to help, and doing things I liked, I started to like being a mom. So take care of you too.
Amen, sister.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think taking care of yourself and taking care of your baby, I was just talking about this with a client. Like, it's not complicated. It's a very simple thing to do, but it's not easy at all. Like, taking care of a newborn, it's not complicated. You feed them, they sleep, and that's pretty much it at first. And you change diapers. But it's not easy.
No.
And same with taking care of yourself. She mentioned here her little list of get on medication, allowing others to help, and doing things that she liked. Those aren't complicated things, but they're not always easy to initiate and do. Just doing things that you like makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I think it's a common belief that as mothers, we have to be self-sacrificing to the point of giving up parts of ourselves for our families. And that is not at all true. Like, that is probably the most harmful thing you can do for your family. I mean, it's what's the saying? Like, you can't take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And that applies in so many ways. Like, you need to make time for yourself and the things that you love and feed yourself before you can feed others.
And no one's going to hate you for it as much as you think they will. Like, your kids aren't going to resent you for, I don't know, going to play pickleball without them or whatever. And I think with personality, like, you don't use it, you lose it. So.
Yeah. And I mean, happy wife, happy life, happy mom, happy everyone.
It's so true.
Yeah. That was a lesson I had to learn way too far into my motherhood journey, was like, no, you need to be making time for yourself and the things that you want.
Yeah.
So that I can be more present and available for my kids.
Yes. And I feel like with every new phase of motherhood, you kind of have to relearn that lesson again. At least I know I have had to. And
then, back to her breastfeeding journey. Breastfeeding is so hard. And something that people don't really talk about is something called DMER, or the dysphoric milk ejection reflex. And this is something when women, when they have their letdown, they'll start to feel negative emotions like seconds before their letdown happens. And you can feel like anxious, you can feel depressed, you can feel a feeling of dread, like you want to die. That's something that women experience that I had never heard of prior to having a baby.
I didn't hear about it until the Bad Broadcast was talking about it on her podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's like, there are mom shamers out there who say, like, if you don't breastfeed your baby, whatever. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do not listen to that. If you need to, bottle feed your baby.
It's so true. And I didn't even know this is a thing. And I kind of am wondering if maybe I had that or something. I'm like, there was just so many. And I wonder if more women have this than they think. I'm curious to know the statistics of this.
Yeah.
But just having a negative emotion associated with an activity again and again and again, like, no wonder it doesn't work out for so many people. It's like a dog. Like, I remember as a kid, my dog would jump on the sliding glass door and we'd spray her in the face with a spray bottle. It's like that. Like, every time you breastfeed, you get sprayed in the face with all these negative emotions. So it makes sense that even mechanically, if it's working out, emotionally, it might not be, and that's okay.
And that's a perfectly valid reason to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And Costco has really good, pretty affordable formula.
Yeah. Love Costco. Costco, one day will sponsor our podcast. Okay, next one. Before you know they will be grown, cherish the younger years. The hardest ones are the teen years. Don't sweat the toddler tantrums. And talk with your spouse before about your parenting views. And less stuff is the best. I love all of this. And I agree, before you know it, they will be grown. I know that's so cliche, and I hope that doesn't make anyone feel invalidated, but, like, I feel like my daughter is turning into a little girl and not a toddler anymore, and I'm like, what the heck? I feel like she was just born, and now here we are. I'm excited for teenagers. I love teenagers.
Oh, I'm terrified.
I think teenagers are the best.
I don't even think I was a teenager as a teenager, so I have no idea.
I liked being a teenager. I liked teaching teenagers. I like having teenage clients. I think they are just so fun. But maybe I won't like it as mom. We will see. And then her final piece of advice, less stuff is best. I 10,000 agree. 10,000% agree.
Babies do not need as much stuff as you think. And I mean, I experienced this both pregnancies. Like, here are all the things you need before baby and what to put on your baby registry. And there's so much stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's very much just like consumerism. Your baby needs diapers, some onesies, a place to sleep, and that's pretty much it. Like, you can create toys out of stuff you have around your house, little books. You can find stuff at yard sales and on Facebook Marketplace. Like, you don't need all these fancy gadgets for babies. They don't need it.
And there's like this impulse, and it's the nesting urge, I don't know, hormone, to like have everything before, but like you can buy stuff on Amazon. Once Amazon knows you're having a baby, you can get any baby stuff overnight. I swear. If I went on and looked at any baby item right now, it would be available overnight tomorrow morning.
Well, and you also don't know what your baby's going to like, because babies are fickle and they are picky. Like, for my first, I bought the Mamaroo swing that goes up and down. Son hated it. Absolutely hated it. Never used it. I kept it for my daughter. Luckily, she liked it a little bit, so I got some use out of it, but it was like a total waste of a first purchase.
Yeah, someone let us borrow their swing, and my daughter hated it.
Yeah, my son wanted one of those like cheap, like Graco ones that just went back and forth. It was almost like a rocket ship was taking off. It went so fast. That's what he wanted.
Wow. I love that.
Babies are different.
Yeah, my daughter, it's crazy. Yeah, they just have little personalities and preferences. Like, literally 3 weeks after she was born, she stopped liking a pacifier. She never liked any swings. She's just a minimalist girl. And now as a toddler, all she wants to do is play with Legos. That's it.
Yeah, kids are so different, even from your first or second. I can't wait to see what your son is like. Because, yeah, my son loved the pacifier. He was super smiley and wanted to be bouncing and moving. And he was fine being, like, laid down, like, on the little, like, we had a little play mat, like, activity center. Loved that. My daughter did not want to be put down, did not want a pacifier, did not like loud noises, did not like being moved a lot. She wanted to be just, like, in a spot, but up and down, being held. And it was like, okay, all right. I have to relearn how to be a mom all over again.
So much flexibility.
For this very different child. Okay, next submission. This one I have not given birth vaginally, so I cannot corroborate, but pushing really does feel like pooping when constipated, and not everyone defecates during pushing, but doing so is pretty normal, and the nurses and doctors are 100% used to it. Screaming while pushing is a total waste of necessary energy. If you're screaming like they do on TV, you're not pushing right. Which I love, because in the movies you do see the
Yes, it feels like you're taking a 1 foot wide poop.
Like, I remember the pressure because my son was like descended into my pelvis before having a C-section, and it was the worst sensation. I cannot imagine it actually coming out of me.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like, I'm okay not giving birth vaginally now because I don't want to have to feel that ever again.
And now that I've learned a lot more about birth, you really don't have to push that much if you just let your body relax and let your body take care of things. But I screamed a lot when I was giving birth. They were like trying to get me to shut up because I was scaring other people.
Well, that was
which is why I took a hypnobirthing class.
A waste of necessary energy. Now you know better for next time.
Yeah, and I was pretty tired afterwards. Oh my goodness. Okay, this person said that it can be incredibly lonely. You're learning a new person who you're responsible for while trying to learn yourself, who has completely changed. And I think that is so true. They say, the mother's born when the baby's born. And it's just, I feel like it's like a portal, I don't know, you go through. It reminds me of in Harry Potter. What's that arch called where you walk through it and then you go into like death?
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, of course I know what you're talking about. I just can't believe I can't remember it. I used to win Harry Potter trivia.
My husband's been playing Harry Potter Lego video game, and he always asks me like different trivia questions, and I always know the answers, but this is pretty niche because it only shows up in one video like one time. Or one movie one time. It's like the Veil of Death or whatever. But yeah. I feel like you do go through that, and a different version of you dies and a new version is born. And yeah, your baby's a new person, and I feel like your baby doesn't always know what they want either. And then the second half of this, that the intrusive thoughts can be scary and it's totally okay to ask for help. Yes, intrusive thoughts are normal.
Yeah, no one told me that was a thing. I thought I was going crazy.
Yeah, and they're so interesting. It's either you have intrusive thoughts about you hurting your baby or harm coming to your baby. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember thinking, I was walking down some stairs and just thinking, like, I wonder what the sound would be like if my baby fell down the stairs. I don't know why my brain was thinking that, right? I'm not actually interested in knowing what that sound would sound like, but your brain just comes up with some really crazy things. Yeah,
I remember being terrified telling my husband that I was thinking about, I'm like, I would never do it. I've never had like an impulse to, but it was like, I have had these thoughts of like, I'd be giving the baby a bath, and what if I just put them under the water? Mm-hmm. And it was terrifying to me that I had those thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
But that is very common.
Yeah, and we just have to remind ourselves, like, thoughts aren't reality.
No.
Just because I think it doesn't mean that it's true. Just because I have the thought, like, what would happen if I put my baby's face under the water doesn't mean I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
and sometimes
I wouldn't.
Yeah, of course. But I do think, it's good to ask for help and tell other people. And if they don't go away, or if you are getting scared, talk to your doctor about it.
Yeah. There's this quote from the book Good Moms Have Scary Thoughts by Karen Kleiman, and it is 80% of new mothers report thoughts of harming or harm coming to their baby, and the other 20% are dirty liars. Which is just, I don't know how accurate that statistic is, but it's comforting to know that it's common.
It is common. Yeah.
And it doesn't make you a bad mom.
Of course. I think we all just need to like demoralize our mind. Like, just because you think literally anything doesn't make you good or bad. It just means you had a thought.
Okay, next one. So this one is just like helpful as far as postpartum recovery goes. So if you tear or have an episiotomy where they have to cut open your opening, urinating will sting. And something that helps is making a little small warm bath. It's called a sitz bath. That is just enough for you to like stick your bottom in with a scoop of salt in there, and that will and you clean off the blood or whatever down there and pee into the water, and that will help it not be as painful to pee, is by going in a sitz bath.
That sounds really nice, like some warm water.
Yeah.
On your swollen, stretched out bits. Yeah, I didn't expect my stitches to hurt. I remember once our friends came over, like maybe 3 days after giving birth and they brought us dinner. They like brought it for them and us, and we were all like sitting down eating on our like wooden kitchen table chairs. And I remember after like 10 minutes, I was like, guys, we gotta go sit on the couch. I need to sit on something softer than this.
Did you make the padsicles?
I didn't.
You didn't? I did, and I didn't even need to use them.
Yeah, I didn't, but my midwife keeps suggesting them, and I need to go get the stuff and do it.
Yeah.
What is it, like witch hazel and aloe?
Yeah, witch hazel, aloe, and you put it on like those giant pads and put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
And then someone, I think, it was the anti-itch spray, the blue top one, they say is really helpful to spray down there.
I loved that stuff. They gave me a bottle at the hospital.
At the hospital. Oh, next tip. Sorry, I know it's not my turn.
That's okay.
But if you give birth in a hospital, pretty much everything in that hospital room, obviously other than like the equipment, is yours to take home. So the diapers, wipes, the Chucks pads, the little basins that they put like bottles or whatever into, like you can take those home.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel guilty. If it's in that room, they're going to have to throw it away if it's something disposable. So just take it home and use it.
Yeah. My husband asked for more diapers when we were leaving.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can do that too.
And also, you don't have to show up to the hospital with anything.
Yeah.
Like, people make a big deal out of packing a hospital bag, but you can literally just show up with your body.
I mean, sometimes babies come out unexpectedly and you do show up with nothing and it all works out.
Yes. Don't stress yourself out about packing a hospital bag too much.
Yeah. It's more out of just like, having your comforts of home.
Yeah.
Like I like to bring pillows because I'm super picky about my pillows.
You should tell everyone how many pillows you sleep with at night.
Guys, I have sleep issues, okay? I have never been a good sleeper and I am just in pain all of the time. So I think on my bed right now, I sleep with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. I think just 8 right now.
Well, isn't that because your husband made fun of you and you got rid of some pillows?
Yes, I did get rid of some because he made fun of me. And I have an adjustable bed like a grandma, and I sleep on a heating pad and with a weighted blanket, and I still don't sleep great. But, it is what it is. I don't have one of those cute aesthetic beds that influencers show on Instagram. I'm like, I could never. My bed is so ugly, but it is what it is.
As long as it's comfy, right?
It is comfy, and I do get some sleep, so whatever.
Okay, this next one, and I think every mom needs this like tattooed on their eyelids. When people offer help, say yes.
Yep.
And if someone's like, let me know how I can help, come up with something right then and just tell them. Someone texted me the other day. I mean, I haven't had my baby yet, but someone texted me the other day and they were like, hey, how can I help you? I know the end of pregnancy is so hard. And I was like, you want to bring me dinner?
That's amazing. Because
I have been coming up with things. Usually I meal plan every week and it's not an issue, but I don't know what it has been the last few weeks. I'm like, I don't know how to cook anything. I don't have the brain power to come up with ideas and translate that into a grocery list right now. And yeah, my friend Lauren's the best. She's bringing me dinner tonight.
That is so nice.
I know. I'm really excited about it.
That's amazing. Yeah, like sometimes I wish, someone should come up with a for friends and family, like things you can do for a new mom list, but sometimes you have to verbalize what you need. Because I don't like asking for help. I wish people would just like offer things and then I'd feel better about accepting, because I don't think I would ever be comfortable saying like, oh, bring me dinner. I would do something like a little more generic, like, I don't even know. Can you wash my dishes and then leave? Or hold the baby so I could take a shower. But honestly, bringing dinner would be probably the most helpful thing. Yeah, and that's advice that I got, and so I tried to practice it as much as I could last time. Like once someone came over to visit and I was like, okay, well, I need to take a shower. Can you hold the baby for 20 minutes while I go take a shower? And they did, and they loved it. Yeah. And it was fine. But it feels so scary to do that. Like I was at Target, I bought a dresser, and like when I was checking out, I was like, can someone help me put this in my car? Like that was so scary to do. But they were like, oh yeah, sure. And just like send some 18-year-old out with me to put it in my car. And it was so easy for him, and it would have been so hard for me with my huge belly. Well, I think about, like, I love helping people. I love having the opportunity to help people. I'm not the best at like finding those opportunities, but I love helping people. And so I feel like, I imagine other people feel the same way. Like they want to help. Yeah. So give them the opportunity, especially after having a baby. Yeah. Yeah. Because then if they even get the idea that they get to glimpse the baby, then, that's reward enough. Yeah. We should come up with a list of things. We should. And post it. Okay. Going along with that, the next submission is The one thing I was unprepared for was how the moment you give birth, everyone couldn't care less about you. All they care about is the baby. Your recovery is not important. People will come over to see the baby, expect to be waited on by you as you're trying to recover. Your body is in pain, you're not sleeping, and you're expected to entertain people when they decide to visit the baby. Very few people actually helped out. And that's an unfortunate reality for a lot of people. And I understand, like, new baby, you want to go see them, whatever, but take care of the mom first.
You got to pay to play. Like, you got to do something for the mom before you hold the baby.
And also, I mean, babies they have very fragile immune systems. Like, especially if you're giving birth fall, spring, flu season, RSV time, like, no. Mm-hmm. Like, let the mom bond with her baby and take the other things off of her plate. Do the dishes, mop the floors, whatever. Let the mom sit in her bed with her baby and bond and recover physically, for one thing, and just give her the space to do that, because I'm sure she's worried about all those other things that need to get done.
Yes, of course. And I think it's totally fine to tell people, if someone texts you and they're like, hey, can I come see the baby? Be like, no, you can't, but I could use some help.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've felt this way a few times, like, just since having a kid. Like, we'll go to my parents' house. They'll be like, my daughter's name, hey, so excited to see you. And they're like, hey, Chelsea. I'm like, I know I'm not as much fun as my almost 3-year-old, but...
See, as long as they're, like, willing to watch her and I can leave, I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's also like, okay, I'm here too.
Yeah.
I made a rule for my mother-in-law's house where it's like, if I'm here, I'm not in charge of my children. And she's like, that's fine.
I love that.
I was like, okay, perfect. I think one of the nicest things someone did for me before having my son was she sent me some money over Venmo, and she's like, spend this on yourself, not on the baby. And I was like, thank you. Sometimes I need an excuse, or like to be intentionally told that you need to focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And it's okay to prioritize yourself.
It is. That's a really easy thing to do.
Yeah. Like,
just
literally the
Venmo
easiest
somebody.
thing. Venmo someone, buy yourself something, not the baby.
Yeah.
The baby's fine.
Yeah. My friend Erica is the best at this. Anytime anything good happens in my life, she Venmos me $5. She's like, go get yourself a drink.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice.
She's so sweet. Yeah. Like, when I passed my licensing exam, she like sent me $5. She was like, go get yourself a soda. I'm like, okay. Let's do a few, maybe what, like 2 or 3 more? Okay, I like this one. You can't control the outcome. You can only control your efforts. And I would add, your efforts are probably 99% of the time, they're good enough.
Yep.
Stop thinking you're not good enough, because you are. You totally are. And right, that's right. You can't control the outcome. You can't control if your baby's gonna like sleep through the night. You can't control if they're gonna breastfeed well. You can't control if they're gonna, I don't know, whatever, meet all the milestones.
You can't always control what your birth experience is going to be.
Mm-hmm. It's like the ultimate how to let go university, being a mom. But you can control your efforts. But don't get obsessed with controlling your efforts either. Just try your best. Research shows that you really only have to get it right 74% of the time to have a secure attached child. So 1 out of 4 you could mess up, which is quite a lot.
Yeah, good to know. Probably need to work on mine a little bit more. I might be 2 out of 4.
It's okay. Most people don't have a secure attachment anyways, so
I think
they'll be fine.
I self-diagnose myself as anxious attachment, but I know why. So. We're good. As long as I can avoid that situation for my kids, I'll consider it a win.
Of course.
Okay, next one is let dad help. It is so easy as moms to just take the reins, but you're both learning how to be parents for the first time, and he needs to get a chance too. He needs to bond as well. The baby will want you 90% of the time, 99% of the time, but let him help at every chance he's able.
And I think it sets the tone for how much they're going to help through the lifespan.
Yes. I mean, I'm a control freak, and I was trying to breastfeed, and I'm the lightest sleeper, so it's like I was doing everything, and I remember my husband coming to me and being like, I don't even know what I can do to help. And, I mean, we had other issues where I'm like, well, just find something, me not understanding his brain, but it was like, oh, no, I need to give him the opportunity to make mistakes, because he's, one, not going to do things the way that I would, and he knows even less about babies than I did or do, but it's okay. He's not going to mess up the baby.
Yeah. He's not going to do anything super detrimental.
He might take 20 minutes to change a diaper, and I might be like going crazy in the corner, but it's okay.
That's how people learn. And I don't know what it is about wives not letting their husbands learn through experience, but...
Probably because we learned through experience at like 12 years old. And it's like, come on, you're 30 now.
Yes, I know, right? Oh, like my husband's trying to learn how to do our daughter's hair right now. He's just kind of taking it upon himself that he wants to learn.
Cute.
But watching him put hair in a ponytail is so painful because his hands, I don't know, I feel like they just don't work. I'm like, it's not that hard. But, I mean, it was hard when I learned how to do it when I was 6 years old.
Yeah. It takes time.
Oh, I love this one. You will get pooped on. You're right. The number, I don't know how that poop just flies right up the diaper, sometimes all the way up to their hair. But yeah, you will get pooped on.
It is inevitable.
It is. I remember, I don't know how it happened. I was on my way to work. I was dropping my baby off at daycare. She had an explosive diaper, and I didn't realize it until I got to work. I had poop on my shirt. It was disgusting. Yep.
My husband got pooped on at our family reunion, like, bad.
Oh, no.
And he handled it like a champ. And I was just like, It's like, you know what? He was initiated into parenthood. Baptism by fire.
Yes.
Okay, next one is a personal experience. If you produce breast milk, it can also come out of your armpits.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't until, so if you don't, like, breast milk is made in like glands. You have glands in your breast tissue, but those aren't isolated to just the main boob part. Like, your breast tissue goes into your armpits, so you can also produce milk up there. Tell me how I know is with my second, I thought I had what I thought was a pimple in my armpit, and I squeezed it and breast milk came out. And for weeks until my milk dried up, if I ever wanted to, I could squeeze out breast milk.
Like, how much would come out?
I mean, just like a tiny stream. Okay. I mean, I wasn't producing much anyways, and it wasn't like free dripping. Thank goodness.
Only if you like put pressure on it.
Yeah, like I would have to like very intense, but it would like get swollen. Like when my milk came in, like I would get swollen.
Wow.
It was wild.
That is so wild.
The human body is amazing and also a little gross.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Oh, it is amazing. It is so amazing. I just keep having those moments. Like, my baby's so big now that like he moves inside of me and like my stomach will look lopsided and stuff. It's like he's it. Like, there's a human being inside of me. This is gonna be a full grown man at some point, and he's in my stomach right now. Like, I don't know why that felt gross to say out loud, but like the beginnings of a real human are in me. Like, oh my gosh.
It's so fun though.
It is. It is so amazing.
Just don't think about it too much.
And it's, I don't know, it feels like the secret little club we're all part of, like all the women.
Yeah.
We get to like produce life, and how freaking cool that is.
Produce life. But I mean, even then, I mean, if you're a woman who doesn't have the opportunity to become pregnant, but you still want to be a mom, like, that's still a club.
It is.
It's, I think, a mother's love, regardless of how you got your child, is incredible.
It is. It is.
Because there's nothing else like it. Like, you do not know what love is until you have your own baby, your own child.
Yeah, and what we were talking about earlier, where you feel like all those moments where you're like, I can't do this anymore, and then you just keep doing it. It's so cool. And
there's another submission that someone says that the mom who isn't the birth mom can and should do skin to skin. So even if you're not the birth mom, if you do skin to skin with your babies, their temperature automatically adjusts to help regulate the baby's temperature. So even if it's not their biological child.
Yeah.
Which is just like amazing.
I love it. Skin to skin. I loved doing skin to skin. My husband loved doing skin to skin with our baby.
Yeah. It was the sweetest thing seeing my husband do it. I was like, oh, okay.
And my baby loved it too, because my husband's so much warmer and like bigger and squishier than I am, you know? I'm like, sometimes I was jealous. I was like, I want to come lay my head on your chest. That sounds nice.
Yeah, my husband's skinny, so I don't know if it was as comfortable for my kids. They definitely preferred me.
Oh, man.
Sorry, honey, you gotta bulk up a little bit for the next one.
Yeah, our husbands have completely opposite body types.
Different body types.
My husband's like almost 300 pound Samoan man.
And mine is very skinny and tall. Not too skinny, but very not bulky. I love you. I think I was waiting for him to gain like sympathy pregnancy weight, because I was eating so much and he was like, yeah, like all about it. Still didn't gain any weight. Like the absolute worst. He's hate it. I can eat super healthy and not gain weight or not even lose weight. And he like, oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds this week and do it. I'm like, you suck. All right. So last one, this mom said that she wished to know how to take care of herself postpartum. What is something you would have done differently in your postpartum experience, or something you would have prioritized?
Okay, I'm a busybody. I have a hard time. I can't even stay in my house all day long. I gotta get out. But I wish I would have tried to stay home and stay in bed for like 5 days, just to give my pelvic floor more time to really just heal without the pressure of gravity on it. And also just let everything heal. Like, you forget that your body just went through something crazy. And like the wound, even just your placenta coming off of your uterus leaves inside of you, like
a dinner plate size wound.
Yeah, a dinner plate size wound. So I wish I would have either asked people to run errands for me or just paid the extra money for grocery delivery or whatever, and just really taking care of myself physically better.
Yep.
And I wish I also would have gone to a lactation consultant earlier. I think I would have saved so much emotional, just like feeling bad about myself for not being able to breastfeed like I wanted to. If I would have either gotten more support and learned something, or maybe that then would have been just like, I don't know, let me off the hook or something. I don't know, like just instead of beating myself up.
Yeah, having someone outside of you tell you either how to do something or be like, this isn't going to work out for you and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, especially women need that. Guys can tell themselves things and they believe it, but we sometimes need outside people to be like, it's not working out. And it's like, oh, okay. So for me, my 2 experiences were so different. I agree, like prioritizing my physical well-being, just like one, having an understanding of what my pelvic floor was.
Yeah.
Even as a personal trainer and as a nurse, I was never taught anything about pelvic floor. Like that is not something they covered in any of my education. So learning about pelvic floor, learning about like how to heal your ab separation, like nutrition wise, what to feed yourself to.
Even just how much food you need.
Yeah. Like you need to eat a lot, especially if you're breastfeeding or trying to breastfeed or pump. Like you need to fuel yourself. And then, handing off the baby and taking a nap. Like sleeping while the baby sleeps is mostly a myth, but give the baby to someone else and then go take a nap.
Yeah. Yes. And that was so hard for me because I would try to sleep while the baby slept, but the baby is, like we said, they sound like a little pig at first. Yeah. They're so loud.
Well, and it's like, who knows how long they're going to sleep.
Yeah.
So if they're only sleeping for 20 minutes and you're awake for 20 minutes, like you're not getting good rest. Like you're always on high alert, especially if you're the person responsible for waking when the baby's awake.
Yeah.
Or waking up. So hand the baby off to someone else and go sleep.
Yes.
But I mean, there's so many things that I still don't know about recovering postpartum.
I know. And I was going to say before, in case anyone doesn't know what your pelvic floor is, like when you're sitting on a bike, all the stuff that's touching the bike seat is your pelvic floor. And that gets real stretched out.
Yep. Even if you don't give birth vaginally, like a lot of pressure gets put on. I mean, as you're pregnant, your pelvis separates a little bit to make room for the baby, and that stretches the muscles down there and it weakens it. I mean, you still get hemorrhoids if you don't give birth vaginally because of the pressure.
You can still get a prolapse.
Yep, still get prolapse. Like there's so many things. So learn how to activate your pelvic floor and heal your abdominals. It all goes together. Make time for it.
There's so many good programs and like people on Instagram who teach about that. Do you have any favorites?
Oh, I do. I think it's called Birth Recovery Center. I did her program, and it honestly feels stupid when you're starting out because a lot of it's just like breathing exercises.
It's so tedious.
You don't realize how hard it is to do until you're doing it. Like how hard it is to activate your pelvic floor and your abs just by breathing. And then even now, as I'm like, again, 2 years postpartum from my second, I still have to be very intentional about activating my pelvic floor and my abdominals before like squatting or something, because I could hurt myself because everything's still a little loosey-goosey. Yeah.
There's so many good prenatal, postnatal fitness accounts that talk about it, like Deliciously Fit and Healthy. Is that her name?
I don't know that one.
She lives here in Arizona.
Oh, I've never heard of her.
And then Good for the Swole. And then Wilma, I did her program. She has like a 6-week pelvic floor program. And they're pretty affordable. Like the Wilma app is $15 a month. And the program's like 6 weeks long. So if you do the program, that's like $30.
Wish I could find her. What's her name? Doc Lizzie DPT. She's a pelvic floor physical therapist on Instagram. I like her stuff. She has a lot of good videos.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess she has programs and free guides. And then I did Birth Recovery Center through someone else. But I mean, YouTube has everything too.
Seriously. I feel like, yeah, if you didn't want to pay for a program, you could find everything you needed on YouTube.
You pretty much can. I had to replace my side view mirror on my minivan.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
I saw it on Instagram. It looked like you did a good job.
Yeah, I bought it off of eBay and I installed it myself. I found a YouTube video that walked me step through step.
I watched that and then I was like, I'm going to fix my ice machine because it's been broken for like 6 months. I watched one YouTube video and then I was like, no,
it's okay. You're growing a human.
Yeah. But you'd inspire me for about 20 minutes. Oh, well, thanks for everyone who submitted their advice. I loved hearing what you guys had to say. And I think it's just so powerful to hear the wisdom from other women. And I'm really glad we get to do that on our podcast, to like bring women together to share their wisdom with each other.
Yeah, it's amazing. We plan to do a lot of listener submission episodes in the future. So follow along on our Instagram page so you can keep an eye out for topics. And if you have any topic ideas, we would love suggestions of things you want to crowdsource from your fellow women.
Yeah. And if there's anything you think we missed today, let us know and we'll post it on our Instagram.
Yeah, because I'm sure there are a lot of things we didn't cover and there's always more to learn. I'm sure after Chelsea has this baby, we'll have to add an addendum somewhere of like, oh, by the way, I learned this too.
And something that we're going to add in the show notes is a few different hotlines. There's a Postpartum Support International hotline, Maternal Mental Health hotline, National Suicide Prevention hotline. So if you are really not doing well, some really helpful resources. But reach out for help before you get to that point where you feel like you have to call a hotline.
Yeah. One thing I did before having our second. So with my first, I had really bad postpartum anxiety that I did not recognize. So while I was pregnant with my daughter, I sat down with my husband and I was like, here are the things you need to look out for, depression, anxiety wise. Mm-hmm. If you see that I'm not doing well with this, like I need you to be aware and to notice and tell me to get help if you notice any of these things.
Make me a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, make me a doctor's appointment. Like be aware because I mean, for myself, I can talk myself out of anything. Like, oh no, you're fine, whatever. But I needed someone outside of myself to be able to recognize these signs and symptoms and just be looking out for me. I'm focused on the baby. He can focus on me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a huge sign that you're not doing really well is starting to think like this baby would be better off without me.
Yeah.
So you're having those thoughts, tell someone else and say, I need help.
Yep. Reach out to your doctor, reach out to your friends, reach out to the hotline.
Yeah. There's so many resources.
Yeah. Reach out to us. We want to help you.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's the end of our episode. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of She Would Know.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating and review.
We would love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for topics and experts you would like to listen to in the future, drop a line in the comments or send us a message on social media.
To stay up to date with She Would Know and get all the behind-the-scenes content, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at shewouldknow.podcast.
Don't forget to stay curious, and we'll see you next week for a new episode.